Oh, oh, hi. We just stopped to smell the roses for a moment. But I am Mary Ann Franzese Chasen. This is Mendez, my faithful assistant, and we are from Spark Elementary. Welcome to Call to the Principal's Table. I'm actually the principal at Spark, and part of what we do here every week is we look at what kinds of stories come to the principal's table every week. It's lots of problem solving in many, many different ways. Sometimes it's meetings. This week we had a bunch of business meetings. Tax week, tax season, accountants, marketers, financial officers. So that's part of the meetings that come our way. But here we are, about to approach spring and spring break, and I think we're all in need of a beautiful spring break where we can stop and smell the roses for a little bit. It's interesting because Spark is a small family school, and it's a community where love really is at the heart of all our problem solving. I got a bracelet this week, a gift, which I'm so grateful for, and it says, "Love listens, loves sees." And part of what I have built my life on is really being able to listen well and to observe. And one of the things that I've been personally really pushed out of my comfort zone with is expanding my language of love speaks. Because love does speak, and the voice of love is not always soft. And the voice of love does not lie and has to be truthful. And there have been some very hard lines that I've had to draw this week, some very hard conversations, and some very hard truths that I had to bring to the table. And when that happens for me, it definitely breaks me apart because it feels like it's not nice. And part of being a principal and being at the table is it's not about nice. It's about what's necessary for growth. And as we're looking at growth and the season of growth, I brought with me, because they so inspire me, from the pre-K room, our butterflies. So the butterflies came to us as caterpillars. They've been in their cocoon and they've now hatched, and we actually have all of them made it. I am so proud of them. The butterflies are here. I was driving with them, and actually one of our parents, Kara, was behind me. And when we arrived here, she was like, "Oh, Marianne, you drive so slow. I thought I was going to crawl out of my skin." I was like, I had butterflies in the back seat. It was like it's the first time I felt this way since when I had my babies in their car seat in the back. Like, they're so quiet. I'm like, are the butterflies alive? Are they okay? Are they going to get smashed? It was that sense of like carrying the fragile, carrying the new life, the transforming spirit. And that takes a lot of care and caution. And what I learned about these butterflies, right? We all know you start as a caterpillar, then you go in your cocoon, and then it bursts into the butterflies. But one of the things I learned is that when the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, it actually liquidates. It turns into a goop. And this goop is filled with what's called imaginal cells. So within the cells, these imagination kind of cells, is all the information that's needed to become a butterfly.
Interesting.
And from that, the butterfly emerges. And so that became very, very helpful in this process of having to have hard conversations. It was this idea that I'm feeling broken down by what has been arising and the way that love has been testing me. But that's a necessary process for transformation to occur, for change to occur. And the process of education at its best is about change. And it's about understanding how change happens, because change is inherent in growth. So to grow, you need to be out of your comfort zone. You need to be able to be supported. You need to have the hard lessons. And then you get to bloom. Come on. And when the bloom happens, I am filled with the greatest of gratitude, because to me it then becomes a miracle. Like, how did these caterpillars turn into butterflies? How did these seeds, and here comes Miss Lori.
How's Miss Lori rolling when she wants?
Miss Lori, we are just talking about spring and awakening and the gratitude of the bloom.
Perfect.
So, because this was such a hectic week for me at my table, when it came time to think about the show, I turned to Miss Mendez. I'm like, okay, what are we going to do the show about? And she's like, well, we have a lot of options. There are a lot of things that came to the table. And I said, you know what? I just want to give it over. And so my butterfly friend swooped in and she said, I'll take it. I'll figure out what the show is going to be about, and you can be surprised.
Anyways, whenever we do the shows, we at most give the briefest of overviews what we're talking about.
True.
We could never be exhaustive, but that's why we have the priority for us is always relationship, because it's not finished. So I had been thinking from the last show, which was comfort, and I tell you this, I talk so much that it seems like I'm not listening, but I am always listening to what you're saying, believe it or not. And I've been processing your talk about, did I sound like I needed to calm down?
Isn't that beautiful? Yes, you had to rush in with your coffee.
She's like, and then she's going to be with the candle and blow this out.
That's right.
So what you were saying last time, just taking the last show, and there's been so many themes we've touched on, but comfort. And the recurring thing you were trying to squeeze in there was where comfort is so appropriate if you take the moments that you reach comfort, or that you retreat to comfort, or, whether planned or not, but for gratitude. And so I'd been thinking about that, and at first I'm like, yeah, but where's the stuff? Where does it happen? Where does the magic happen? Outside? And you're like, but I keep thinking maybe in the comfort zone, if you use it as gratitude and then you refocus.
True.
Or get ready to stretch coming out of comfort again. It can be so much more purposeful inside comfort and outside. And that's what you want to do in life in general, is have a purpose. Without purpose, I always say, you have drudgery. And we don't want life to be drudging, including at the table. We come to the table, and this is kind of an abbreviation of what happens at your table with a little heart at school.
Yes.
And so we go to the table, we talk about our problems. It's never enough time to do it all, but it's also something that's repeated. It's revisited. And that's something people don't get to see. It's not like here we talk about it and we're like, and that's a happy thought, and now we carry on. But then there's the blood, sweat, and tears of working out what we talk
creating,
about.
right? How do we remedy? How do we create the plan? Big time.
And so you work on it. These are just, I had written notes, which I didn't have time to read because I was driving with my teacher's age, a little crazier than I thought. So I was like, I'm just going to not read now. So going back to why you have gratitude. As a community, we come to the table pretty animated a lot of times, enthusiastic. even when it's to
And
discuss
worked
the negative.
up. Yes,
So,
definitely worked
and I
up.
personally, so people don't make the mistake like, oh, well, easy for her to say she's just a Marianne cheerleader.
Mm.
I proudly say that I think I've dragged you to the table and you've dragged me to the table for some of the roughest talks.
Well, Lori, just right before you came in, I was talking about actually the bracelet that says love listens and love sees. And I said, and then the third component is love speaks. And the voice of love is very imperfect because it's emotional.
Yes.
It's the intent that's behind the words, and sometimes they just come out in ways that hold so much frustration or anger or confusion or hurt. But the words need to be spoken as a starting place.
Right.
And that's what you're talking
Right.
about. Like, we've got to be willing to be in the mess of the starting place to be able to then develop the plan out. It's holding space for the goop.
And because I don't want people to be mistaken, like we just sit here like, that's a great idea. I agree because
how do you come up with those solutions?
We have had, without any
confusion.
better way to say it, just drag out fights at that table.
We've
Is
had,
that fair enough to
we
say? And I
definitely
think I can say
we
without,
saw
I'm
it
not ashamed of
differently.
it, I don't think you are.
I'm proud of it. I'm
but
proud that we were
get
able
to
to
the
come
other
through.
side of it and back to the table, because a part of it is we both are big believers in enthusiasm, not just coming enthusiastically to the table. I want this for my son, which is a priority, but also coming back with enthusiastic intention of working. I just can't come and say, make this happen. What are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I'm coming to the table, or when you bring me to the table, it's as a community, and we talk about like a covenant. And to me, like part of our method that we agree on for kids is that the relationship between people is more important than
an authentic relation
than the stuff and than heads bumping. My relationship with you is more important than sometimes my feelings. It has to be. 'Cause you're a tough cookie, and so am I.
Yes.
So,
yes.
And the relationship is given priority over this is kind of revisiting what we talked about, how we feel in the moment, and the relationship with the community is set as a priority. It can't just be like I come in with my wish list for my son, because then I'm just going to like order a cake at Costco, and we're talking about lives. We're not talking about and I'm not talking about just Seth. Like, I need you to adjust your whole program for us. But also sometimes I do. So it's somewhere in between. But to have gratitude, even selfishly, which I can be selfish also, even selfishly, gratitude is so beneficial.
It's so beneficial.
First of all, it increases your experience of whatever you're grateful for. So if you've been able to do something for me that I even take a second and mention it, it makes that gift more meaningful because I've acknowledged it to me, not talking about what it does for you.
Right.
It increases the communal experience, which is the whole idea of being in it together, being a community, and it strengthens that relationship above the hashing it out, the ugliness, the grittiness, you call it, of the details. Okay. And the important thing is that we have a belief beyond this moment that we'll get there, but it's through this, because this has come up. So today, Kristen and I, which is funny because I'm
really curious
my plan
to hear what you
anyways
planned.
was to talk about revisiting, and so it's not just like, oh, thank you, you've done this, because a lot of stuff's not completely sorted through. It's going to be a work in progress. A lot of stuff that you said about helping our kids achieve, you won't get to see. You know, maybe some people will be good enough to write you a letter from afar. They do. But you won't always see it because these are living, organic beings.
Growing. They're in a process. They're in a process.
It's not like like
And there are
it's not a
different
wish
stages.
list and you just
Mhm.
check it off and return it. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
So we wanted to revisit some of the things that have been brought to the table either here before your audience for the show or just at school and let you know like how we're doing.
That's great. I love that.
That's it.
That's a great show.
That's just it's an act of gratitude, and I say, for some people it'll be good for you if it makes you feel a certain way, but also for ourselves just to take this moment of comfort to increase the gifts we have, like just for myself to recognize when I tell you I came with this issue about Seth or whatever, and we're getting there.
I want to share this.
Because it makes us feel good,
it's really
too,
beautiful because gratitude is, we were talking last week also about time, right? The in-between time, the angelic time, as you called it. I was talking to my daughter Mary, she's in Africa, just this morning, and she said one of the things that she so appreciates about the culture, there is no sense of having to get something done by a certain time. So if you go to the tailor and you say, I need this fixed, hemmed by Wednesday, they're like, okay. And then you may get it done by Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. Like you could want that.
Right.
But we are in this sense of time that isn't so end oriented.
Right.
And so what you're saying about revisiting is really looking at more of the circle.
Yes.
So we've changed our position in the circle slightly. I'm standing in the north right now.
Right.
Let me have some perspective and reflection and actually just simply have the gratitude of, I've actually walked a few steps along this circle. Let's take a look. And that is, again, it's not about accomplishment. It's not about we can check this off. It's we're still in the circle together, that alone. And it's kind of like this cocoon. I keep going back to it because I think there is some truth in expressing gratitude, having a cocoon of safety around you that says we're holding you in whatever state you're in, allows that to rise and make sometimes the intolerable just tolerable.
Right, and sometimes that's as good as it gets, and sometimes it doesn't have to be because that's enough.
Yep.
So here we
So
are.
who have we got?
And I just wanted to prove to you I do
show?
listen even when I'm like, wait a minute, what about
Stop, listen up, Miss Mendez.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It's also interesting because as you were talking before Lori came, you were saying how you're feeling broken because of everything that's happened the past month.
No.
And in my head, I'm like, this was great. And
gratitude repairs. It
all
does.
day yesterday, we had students and staff fighting over who would actually come for spots on the show because everyone has like a story to tell.
Right.
So it's not just the kids that are thankful. It's we have some parents here. We had staff members that wanted to come. So it was just interesting hearing you talk and then having
the other.
And I've never thought that because I've always known gratitude grows, right? Gratitude will just expand. But you're really talking about gratitude heals and the need to like sometimes just feel like, okay, I need a pause and like
a reflection.
Am I doing okay?
Yeah.
Right?
The other thing, like when you say that it makes me think of is we have to remember, like we're using the analogy of like checking off. You know, here's my checklist. What I need to do. I don't ever want my child reduced to an agenda. And I also don't want that for you. I don't want him to ever see us across the table from somebody and they're an obstacle, not a person. Because the truth is, I say this with my own shame, that we come one after another to the table. People don't see it here, but at school, I'm very aware.
Oh my gosh, it's open door.
I want to say, like, it could be a problem.
Or it could just be a
not
connection.
be that. Or just, let's just say something pressing, but everybody feels like what they have to do that moment is more important than everything else. And it is, but there's still just one of you. So you'll just, I saw this a couple weeks ago and I told you like, oh my gosh, my head is spinning. You're like breaking up whatever's going on. Then you go, because the parents made an appointment to scream at you. And then from there you're like, first graders, ice cream.
That's right.
Then you're like,
They
back
deserved
to,
it.
oh, she had
Haagen-Dazs.
me screaming, going back.
Uh-huh.
And people don't realize it's not just this window and me. And then you just, that's all you're there for. But it's good for us to remember too, like, we're dealing with the human and we're
Yes.
dealing regarding our little mini human. And our mini human is watching us, mini human, but beyond a zygote, right? But they're watching us and learning how we treat people.
Well,
And it's good to teach them that even when you think you're campaigning for them.
Well, I would have to say that if hearing what you just said, if I am in fact showing up that way, that is one of the greatest compliments and reflections I can get, because it says to me that there is no hierarchy of needs, right? Whoever you are,
Yes. And
you
Rosie.
are just as important. And whether
Yes.
you've just scraped your knee or we have a crisis on
That's the one human quality I wish I don't know where it missed with me big time though. You and
Say
Rosie
that.
both take what is right in front of you and you deal with it right then.
Yeah.
It's something I don't
With
have.
full heart,
You
yeah.
never are like, okay, let's make an appointment. Let's do that. You're like, I'm here now.
Let's do it.
What's going on?
Mhm.
Both of you. And we wanted desperately for Rosie to be here because I feel part of me feels guilty to show gratitude. It's for Spark.
Yes,
This
it's
isn't
for
the
what's
Mary
great.
Ann show. This is the
Good,
Spark show.
good.
But also, like, it has to be said that
Yes.
that Rosie, everybody really is so deserving,
Right.
of it. So, and she swore up and down, no, Mary Ann's it should be her. But we were like,
No,
this
is a co-creation. This is a community creation. So who have we got?
So who's
I
that?
have people texting me from backstage.
Say, when are we coming?
Yeah, hurry up.
Come on, we have clubs on Friday.
Yeah,
First-
the rest will take. It's like just the where they were, where they are, boop de boo.
Nice little check-in. Eli.
Come right here. Eli never wants to come on the show because of the possibility of missing club.
Yay!
Eli, you were such an upstander on the playground
Yes.
today.
What happened
So
to the
praying.
playground? There you
We're doing this whole
I'll
bully
speed it up,
proof
right?
project.
go. Okay.
And we're giving different roles on how, if you hear or see acts of unkindness, bullying, what are some of your choices? And so actually Miss Lori and I went out as bullies. We were the undercover bullies, but I think they figured us out right away.
She was alarmingly
It was
good
kind
at
of
it. I was like,
But I
That's
loved
a
it
little too
because,
good.
do you remember what you said when we were kind of bullying you?
I forgot.
I was like, why are you walking back and forth like that?
It's
you
weird.
said 1 and 2. Does that help?
One, it's a weird habit. Two, please stop it.
Yeah, but with such clarity, authority, and without any defensiveness. So, bravo to you. You have really learned to have a voice.
Absolutely.
That's not screaming.
And that is not screaming. And that's why we're here, because we're here to talk today about gratitude, right?
Yes,
And so
yes.
I am here. I came in because I wanted to talk about my gratitude for Spark Elementary and all that you guys do.
Oh, you're such a...
What do you...
I'm doing.
So these last 3 years, Eli has been at Spark for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're coming towards his end of the time, and it's a really
Yes.
nice time to kind of look back and think about where we were 3 years ago and how far we've come. And as a parent, these 3 years have been phenomenal for me, have been so amazing to watch. I've watched Eli every single day run to the house, run on the bus. So excited to come to school and so excited to learn. He has he's figured out how to enjoy learning, which I
That's a
think
big
is
thing.
so important. He's learned not only the academics but learned about himself and the world around him and role that he wants to play. He's coming home asking questions about our government, about our climate, about science, about, you know, why is this way? And it's such great inquisitive thinking. You know, it's been amazing to watch him grow and to learn.
Metamorphosis.
It has been such a metamorphosis in how to, you know, advocate for himself and what he needs. And what he needs in order to be the best learner he can be and in order to succeed. And I'm just so grateful that Spark exists, that it's accessible, that it is, and to be part of this community has been the most amazing experience for our whole family.
Sherry. And that voice has really sustained us. Truly, to have that.
Yeah.
You know, and Eli, one of the things I wanted to draw to your attention, back at the fall change of season, remember the hard time you had with your coat?
Yes.
So it was, do I wear a coat? Don't I? What kind of coat?
Okay, the problem was that, the start started during the end of fall.
Pre-fall.
Pre-fall. It was like coming out of summery weather into fall wintry.
Summer's weather.
Yes.
But it's kind of insane to bring a fleece out when it is 58 degrees outside.
Well,
it is
just
insane.
the other day you said to me, I've got my fleece today. But the point I'm going to make, Eli and I in the hallway had a very love language, right? It was love speaks discussion. Eli was super emotional, but was completely using I statements. This is back in the fall. I am so mad at you, Principal Marianne, remember?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Eli, we have got to get it down. We have to figure out what's the temperature. So Eli and I, truly the screaming, but in self-empowered. Because you said, like, sometimes it's screaming.
No, it really, that's how it happens.
But Eli,
Me too, Eli. I'm on Team Eli, so.
The point is, Eli and I sat at the table we made between this weather and this weather, you wear this. Between this weather and this weather, you wear this. So I had kids this week, as the weather has changed, from 2nd and 3rd grade, saying, please, can we leave our coats? And I'd say, and we put it up on the locker for Eli. I said, check Eli's weather posting. And they would go and say, oh, it's 41 degrees, we need to wear this. I did not have to have the conversation, and it occurred to me in that moment, Eli, this wasn't just your need. You made the biggest fuss about it, but kids ask that question all the time about transition. And we created a plan to go by. So 58 degrees, you bring your fleece out. If you need to take it off, you take it off. But if it's windy in 58, you might need it, right? And it's helped the other kids in our community. So thank you.
And also, we've also grown from these crises, because
it's crisis
and
creates
lots of different
plans.
crises. And one of the things that we have all gotten from Spark is the ability to grow from those crises and not have the same ones, and being able to learn from our past crises, which isn't always done. It's not always, it's that opportunity isn't always taken. It's always there, but it's not always taken. And you guys always take that opportunity
because
to create change out of crisis.
That is helps me to articulate it, because I think in the
Totally
moment
agree.
of crisis, it's so scary. There's an element, you were so scared you weren't going to get what you needed, right? In that example. And you didn't even think you can compromise, but you did. It made sense, and it's there now.
Is there anything you want to say about gratitude, Eli?
I really, really like Spark. It helps me a lot with a lot of things, and I've learned a lot.
Thank you, Eli.
And most of the classes are pretty fun.
You can't have 100%.
Except for one, just one.
There's just one that's not doing it for you.
One.
Well,
It's not mentioning names.
We'll leave it in this one.
Not mentioning it.
That is good
Well-mannered.
self-restraint.
That is very good
child.
self-restraint.
I
That is
think
great
that's
maturity.
Don't blow it though now.
Well, Eli, how do you think people see you at Spark? What do you think staff thinks about you, other kids think about you?
Well, one of them saw me as verbal punching bag. I'm not going into that any further than that.
Yes, you spoke up about that, feeling like there was some sense of bullying from a
Yeah.
past student. Yes.
Yes.
But how about the rest?
The rest, I see me as a friend, and or just that one kid, if he just walks around at recess.
Okay.
Okay.
I love that you're
Ah.
a friend or neutral.
Yeah.
That's
Right,
I wish
that's-
that's the only two impacts I've had on people.
Yeah.
In my time, right?
I know that the ladies in the office really like you. They say you're always say good morning, right, Miss
The only
Benton?
one that stops in every morning straight from the bus before he even unpacks. Bright good morning smile
You have mentioned that to me.
every single morning.
You know, other teachers have said that to me too. That
Yeah.
you visit every single teacher to say good morning every
Yeah.
single day.
That kind of greeting changes everything for
Mhm.
people. Just to have a smile, I'm here, how are you, hello.
Mm-hmm.
It's an impact on our community.
Yep.
It is. And I think Spark is one of the places where Eli is so free to just be who he is and be proud of who he is
That's what we hope.
and be who he is and thrive and really succeed as himself. And that's one of the things I think is so
Yeah.
special about this community.
Eli, do you feel ready in the thought of moving on, going to 6th grade?
Yeah, I just hope that that is less. That makes me less mad than my last school. Like
Oh.
not Spark, but
The-
before Spark.
So you're thinking, oh, will I still be frustrated like I was then? So any particular skill that you're going to take with you, anything that you've learned about yourself that can make it less worrisome? Anything you can do?
I think that's a skill that I do have a lot. Sometimes I get really mad, so I think I might. I take something like a rage fidget, like a rage fidget, like something.
Rage
like
fidget. Love
I
it.
get that.
Yes.
I love that.
So you're naming the thing that might be difficult for you is the getting angry. So you're going to be prepared by having things that help you to calm down your anger, like a fidget. I think that sounds great, and I think that's realistic.
I think the next school will be different because I don't think it's the same boy going into it.
That is very true.
You're
From
not
the
the pre.
I am not wearing
So,
my hat.
Not the
Yes, you are not
second
allowed to
grade
wear a hat.
I
That's
think
a
he's
different
gonna
change.
find himself like this seems so different, but it
I'm
might just
different
be
too.
you that's changed so
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's very well said.
much.
Okay.
All right, you want to
I
get
know what
back?
you're thinking.
I think that's
I
amazing.
think by now we can read your mind,
That's
and we've kept you, haven't we?
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, you've taught us so much.
Well, we will let the next.
Group, come
Next
on.
group, come
Eli,
on.
go. Miss Mendez, are you
Bye,
leaving us too to take Eli back? Or sure?
Once Gianna's done.
Okay, so
Because she's up next.
Gianna, quick, come on in. How's our little Gianna? Gianna has gloves.
Hi.
Gee, do you want to come sit here so we can see you better?
Yeah,
Come on.
because you were here the last two, so now you get.
Front and center.
That's right.
And you get to smell the roses. Is it good?
Mhm.
And I know you get a little scared of flying things. But here you are sitting with our butterflies. Are they making you a little nervous?
No, I have butterflies.
You like butterflies. Awesome. If there was what in there would make it really hard.
Anything that can hurt me, like a bee or a wasp.
So if we had a beehive, that wouldn't be good.
That would-
No, that would not, no beehive.
Totally reasonable.
But we might have some, Miss Lori may have some honey in her coffee. Is that okay?
Yeah,
But no bees. So Gianna, hello, why do you have gloves on?
So what do you think we saw last year
With
when
our
you came
girl.
when you came into school? You were new late in the year, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember what your first week, maybe month was like? How you felt?
I actually liked it the first month.
Right away you liked it.
Instantly.
So, how did you know?
You were more quiet
Because
then.
I remember when you came for your tour with Mom and Dad. First of all, we loved Mom and Dad right off the bat. They were like family. Miss Rosalie said, "Wait, are you my cousins from Brooklyn? You guys feel like you're my family." She loves your mom and dad. I love them too. They're great. So they were so open-hearted when they came in, so honest. But do you remember the first time you came through? What made you think, this is okay, I want to come here?
The teachers, the playground I liked.
You did.
And I also like the fact that we eat lunch in the classroom.
That was the first year you came, we did eat in the classroom. So part of the other school, the cafeteria was too loud. Yeah.
Those echoes.
Ooh, hard. Yes. Yes.
And how do you think you're different this year?
I'm older.
You are.
Yes. And what else has changed? You have a sister this year.
Yeah, I was just.
Well, you had a sister, but
And I
it's-
always want to
see
call you
more.
Gabby instead of Gianna. I don't know, I got your names crossed in my head, and I want to call her Gianna. It's the G's.
We're definitely more talkative. You're much more outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know about all this Little Miss personality in there. I suspected, but this year we really see it, right? So what happened?
What do you mean?
Well, because this year you're just like a bundle of energy,
You're
a
a
bundle of
butterfly.
happy energy. I see you skipping.
And she holds her
singing,
own, being
she's
the only
funny.
girl in her class.
And she's a little smarty pants when she
Mhm.
needs to be with those all boys, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I heard that you want to have your own broadcasting show, right? Or YouTube channel?
Yeah.
So what would you
Awesome.
talk about?
I'll probably talk about the school and also some fun stuff like vacations. You can go on vacations in the videos. Fun
What?
places.
So
Love that.
you'd be like a travel show.
Yeah.
A travel show. So look, you've got your moment, G. Let's pretend, let's introduce right now. You're looking out there on that TV screen. What would you say? Hi. Go ahead, go. Tell us.
Hi, I'm gonna travel today to blah 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 vacation place.
I'm gonna take you on a journey. Come. Blah, blah, blah vacation place. And you'll take your little smartphone with you, or?
I don't have a smartphone. I have an iPad.
Oh, so you could
Do you
videotape
just- yeah.
that way.
I mainly have like games like Roblox.
Yes. That's your favorite, though. I have heard that causes some trouble for kids. They like talk to other people steal their money or something.
My mom only lets me friend like my grandmother. She plays Roblox.
Oh, that's great. Grandma
Oh,
on
that's amazing.
Roblox. I love that.
That's great.
So safe people.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. So what made you want to come on today?
I like coming on myself.
You do. We love having you. Can I hug you?
I'm shy.
She does
Really
not like a
shy.
hug, but that was important, right? Not to just assume that it's okay to grab you and hug you. That's awesome. That just made me really proud,
Yes.
right? For you to be able to say right here in the moment, I'm a little shy about that. I'd rather not. Can we high five? Yeah, quick. So what's your club today you're going to?
Comic book.
Are you excited to get there?
Yeah.
What's your comic about?
Puppy dogs.
Oh, I love it.
Dogs.
Oh, I love it.
Really
All
good.
right, puppy dog comic
Okay.
book to the rescue.
Off to your club. Have fun. We'll see you back there, okay?
Okay.
And as you're driving,
I'm driving.
Okay,
And
so you'll send Carol on your way.
I will send Kara.
So I'll take the minute to say also with Gianna, she came in very, very smart girl.
True.
But academically, her and so many students, if you just have seen, if you've seen as a principal, but just the graphs of where they are in reading and where they are the next year, this girl is going to run out of elementary school books, maybe this year, for sure by summer. So, and this is somebody that came in strong academically. My son also came in very advanced, and there's room to grow, and he stayed with his class, and he's still advancing at higher grade levels.
Well, and that does speak to Rosalie and our team, right, of reducing the anxiety around learning.
Yes.
But without reducing the expectation for performance within a strong curriculum. And we're just beginning to start to look at how do we incorporate for our more gifted students some sense of enrichment within the curriculum.
You
right?
already have given permission in class, because if they are more gifted, then they will get the work done very quickly, and then
Yes.
they're allowed that time for enrichment in class
Yes.
presently.
Yes, so that's our next
And it's
phase.
good
We
to
just
say
started our
Gianna
math
was pretty
masters.
quiet last year, and Seth, but it's good to say too, like, one of the things academically, to know something and to be able to express it are two different things. And so even though they come in really strong up here, you guys teach them to translate it into expression and be able to share it, because to be able to read at any level, if you're not going to read in front of anyone, it doesn't count. Come in, don't be
Come
shy.
in, here are the Kellys. We love you,
The
Kelly
Kelly
girls. Maddie left.
Maddie had to go to club.
She's going to club. So we're here. You chose to stay, Samantha?
You can probably still make part of the club.
club. Thank you. And Samantha is my middle girl. I love it. The middle girl of
The
three.
middle Kelly girl.
Do you want to smell? We're all smelling
Those
the
are pretty.
roses.
Tea roses.
Tea roses.
So we're
So
here about being
Kelly,
grateful.
we were just sharing stories of gratitude or growth or whatever you feel like today.
Gotcha.
Just close your eyes, picture an instance in your at Spark from before and then today.
Can Samantha
And
go
then
first?
Sure, and then you can share a little Snapchat, because I'm talking to Sam.
I like
Snapshot is the way we would say it. I don't even have Snapchat. I know, I hear these.
That's how the kids do it.
That's right.
Sam, can you think of something
Can I touch your hair?
before you came to Spark and then after, and the difference?
That's a great idea.
Something that you could put into words.
I like about my old school that I made my best friend there.
Oh,
Right.
That's good.
so great. Very hard to leave a best friend behind to come to a different school, right?
We live in the same neighborhood.
So that worked out for you. So you were able to take that next step.
You said last night, because I always ask you, I always check in with her, like, how do you
Right.
feel? Do you want to go back?
Good.
Because it was sort of like a quick, it wasn't a quick decision, but it was a decision suddenly, because Samantha could have stayed in public school, right? But what do you notice the difference now here? Because you said last night you like Spark better. Why?
Because I liked all the teachers.
You like the teacher.
And I like switching the classes.
You like to move about. You need to move about. That's different.
And I would say for the growth for Samantha, definitely with the age comes that change. Last year, it was hard coming home from school every day, right? I remember that. It was really hard that we weren't together. Even though I don't see you that often during the day, maybe once or twice, I feel like she's, on the whole, happier, less teary coming home from school, right? Also because the no homework helps.
Yes.
policy.
Yes.
It helps.
Oh, you can
I was
just be
really
free.
mad when Katie and Maddie didn't have homework and I did.
I could imagine that must have been
That's tough.
so hard and unfair and aggravating. Yes. Because one of the things I've learned about you is that you're the kind of girl that you're a rule follower. If you get homework, you're going to do your homework, right? because you care a lot about your work. So when you already have it in you to do the right thing all day long, at the end of the school day, you need to be free to kind of follow just, the rules of childhood, which you know what the rules of childhood are?
No.
To have
No.
fun.
Yeah, ideally.
Right? To have fun, to make mistakes.
And I'm grateful that even though she's sort of that rule follower and quiet, Samantha's really quiet and kind of closed off sometimes, is that even though Samantha was new to you,
Yes.
her well-being was a major importance. Like it was a forefront issue for you,
Yes.
her whole child health.
Yes.
When she wasn't happy, why,
Yes.
right? I'd be like, go talk to Marianne because I can't get anything out of you.
Yes.
Oh,
I do.
And
Yes.
that's it, like I think Lori said, there's so many people come at you, talking to you, and you are a sort of like a fixer of everybody else's
When we
problems.
encourage each other behind her back,
Mm.
Kara's like, go to Marianne, Lori. Like, she'll
Yes,
work that out. Because
yes.
sometimes I'll be like, what am I going to do with stuff? She's like, Marianne's the one that does that. Come on.
Good.
We call
It's
it
like
heck?
the tinker.
There's-
Yeah,
The
she's like,
tinker shop. Let's tinker.
sometimes she'll be like, okay, why don't you try this? Or I'll say with Maddie, try this. Or
Right.
sometimes she'll be like,
Right.
I'll talk to him. And then other times she's like, that's what Marianne's is here for.
Right, so I have a question for you about that, Samantha, because you and we've had some really nice conversations together, right, at the table, whether it was with Emmy and the other lunchtime chats with those kids. But then you and I, when we would have our chats together, one of the ways we match is we're both middle sisters, right? I have an older sister and a
So
younger
nice.
sister. Are you a middle sister? Oh my gosh. So I understand that place. But the times where it was so hard for you to find the words, remember when we were sitting there one day and I said, we're going to have to sit here until we figure it out? And it was just kind of like having to break through a cocoon. Wasn't it? Like having to break through a wall. It was so hard. Did that feel hard for you? It did. Did it feel a little scary? It did. And then once you were able to come out and say what it was that was bothering you, did it feel better? It didn't feel better. Did it feel like it helped at all? Not at all. But we still survived it, right?
Yeah.
And we, at least once we knew, were able to put some things in place to help it be a little easier for you next time. Have you found that?
I don't.
You're not sure.
Can I say something about that with the cocoon? One of the things we have to realize, and this is like a hard lesson for me to get at my age, so I don't know how children are, except maybe we can plant the seed that they'll get later. Principal Marianne isn't here to make anything easier for us. And what made me think of that is when you're saying the cocoon. I don't know if you guys have heard this story, but there was somebody had like the cocoons, the butterflies, and they were waiting for them to change into a butterfly. And when the day came, it was just rattling and rattling and rattling, and just it gets almost like violently shaking. They're trying to get out of the cocoon, and you can see the wing, and it's so close, and they're going to break through. And one of the kids had told the teacher or parent, whoever was in charge of it, like, it's just stuck. It's stuck. It's stuck. And they had other cocoons, and they're like, it'll work it out. This is what they do. And when the teacher had left, the student, it was, if you want to say science class, whatever it was, they had taken like a little scissor or a little thing, and they cut the cocoon. And they were like, I knew it. I knew I could help it. And it came out. And then the other ones, over the next week, that butterfly died. And the teacher knew, like, you helped him. And they were like, because he was stuck. What do you like?
Yeah.
It was struggling. It was like shaking and
It's an
helpless.
important story.
And the teacher or instructor had said, you know, when it was struggling and shaking and trying to get out, that's what made it strong enough to live as a butterfly.
Yes.
It needs that time to
It
struggle to grow.
has to have that, and you took that away from it.
Right.
And so so I'm very proud and pleased in an adult way when you say like, no, you didn't really make it easier. Good.
Well,
you know,
and
does
it's-
that make sense? Like,
It's
does.
easier for me as a parent, whether
Right.
Samantha
because
feels
sometimes we
the
would
effect
do the
or
cut.
not.
Yeah.
I was grateful for the journal that we thought is a good idea, right? How good was that? The journal
Yes.
that you write to me and I write to you, and it could be a picture and it could be
Cute.
happy. And it was something that I don't think I would have thought of on my own. And it's such a simple way of communicating, especially for Samantha and me, who she's always, right? We always think Samantha's fine, she's quiet, she always gets her work done. But sometimes she's not fine and she puts on the facade that she
Right.
is fine. You're coming towards me.
Yeah,
She's
she
angling
needs a little-
towards me.
Cozy.
Feeling vulnerable.
And you know, it's I feel vulnerable right now. Absolutely
Yeah.
coming, you know. And in a way, you, Marianne, have helped Madeline and Samantha become completely different colored winged butterflies.
Oh,
Cute
that's
little butterfly.
precious.
You know,
Yeah.
Madeline is more outspoken in a different way than
Yes.
Samantha is, and I struggle with her so much less than I did in the beginning. And I bet you could probably say that Madeline's grown a lot, right, Samantha? She used to melt down in school a lot.
Right.
Just last year.
Right.
It was
oh my
like
gosh, I can remember you.
Sometimes it would be every day. And the growth that I've seen this year from her and the confidence is a direct effect of you and Rosalie.
Right. Right.
And the
Like
belief in her.
training
Right.
and a sense of you've got this. You've got some tools. But for you, Samantha, I want you to know something really important is that even when you don't have the words, you are still saying a lot. And it's kind of like this bracelet again, I'm going to go back to. We can see it. We can see
Right.
it. And sometimes it's just important to know that you will never be invisible. Sometimes I wish I were invisible, honestly. I wish it was my superpower and I could just disappear. But we see you. We see you when you're happy, when you're relaxed, when you're doing your thing, and when you feel sad. And yeah, it doesn't help sometimes to feel seen. I love that. You said, well, it sort of helps. I don't know. Not really, right? But you're here. Do you feel like we care about you?
Yes.
That's it. That's it. That is it. We care. And we see you and we're going to listen. And sometimes, yes, when you are clearly suffering, I am going to just, what is that called? Sit it out. Sit it out with you until we get to the bottom of it. Because I can't let you just suffer without us knowing why.
Right.
Right? You know, can I hug you? Gianna wouldn't let me hug her. Love's a pretty girl.
Thanks, Sam.
Are you leaving?
This was so lovely.
I'm going to just share. Seth
If
actually
she wants to
wrote a
get back to
note.
club, do you want to get to club? Or are you okay? You're okay.
So,
So
we're
let's
going to
hear.
do a mini think tank. I just wanted to. Seth just took a few minutes. He didn't want to come in.
If I had the puppets, he would have.
He would.
He
have.
loves my puppets.
He's with Courtney, and it interfered with his Friday
nice
plan
time.
that you guys have made. Nice
Yeah.
Friday, and he sticks to. He just wanted to quickly point out that last year, when asked like, what's different from last year to this year, he's like, I don't know. Last year I just slept a lot.
It's true. He did.
He came to school and he slept
Yes.
hours.
Big deal.
Hours.
Big deal.
He's like, I wouldn't climb on the playground.
Right.
And I threw things in Montessori.
True.
I
Dumper.
kicked,
He
I would
was
hit.
a dumper. Uh-huh.
And he's like, I was out of control, I think. And he was like, I would say when I came into Spark, I was in the yellow and red zone.
He knows his
Which
zone.
prior to coming to Spark, I would have said he was in the green zone. But there had to be that shift that
Oh.
just forced
It
him
was the
into
first
yellow
time.
and red.
Yeah.
And there was no alternative because he had he was pretty much nonverbal until maybe weeks before he came here. We joke about it. He didn't call me mom until this year. Kara got him to.
Yes, Carrie, you did. How'd you do that?
Just kept saying.
It's like,
Oh,
she
you
was
your mom?
relentless. Like,
I was just relentless as all of my kids can be when they want something. And he would
She
say
was-
Lori, and
That's
I
a
would
great
go Mom.
gift.
He called-
I'm
he
so
called
grateful
me
you did that.
Milky until we got to school. Then we got to school and he heard people call me Miss Lori, so he called me Miss Lori.
Yes, I
for
know he
over
called
for a
you Miss
year,
Lori.
better than a year actually. He would not call me mom, mommy. So now he calls me mommy, and we're talking about a child on the autistic spectrum. And I don't know how you guys see him, but he's heavily on it. You know, I mean, I personally think he does well enough that he might look like maybe Asperger's or whatever. He's very heavily. So what you see is, I would say, extremely high functioning, but it wasn't always there. In addition to him barely learning to talk and not even knowing how to address me and his dad, he had been at home during a critical time when you would want somebody on the spectrum to be in therapy, in school, social, and we chose not to because we had a lot of family members passing different stages of cancer and Alzheimer's and whatever. So he says this year, through all that, this is just coming off the shock of that. I mean, we
Yeah,
were
very
at loss.
true.
We were
I
like
know
weeks
you had
away
a
from
lot
loss the
lost.
day we walked in and met you, I think. He's like, this year, I'm always awake and in class. It was a biggie getting him in class. I'm always climbing on that playground. I'm in control this year, and I do all of my work. I like to stay in the green zone. And it should be said that we return to the table over and over and over.
Yeah.
And that's the first time you hear my voice crack, because I'm not usually emotional, but that's exhausting to me.
Yeah.
I
No,
love you,
no.
but I find it exhausting to revisit, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like we should come, work it out, and move
And be
on.
done.
That's how
That's the
yeah,
completion.
right, but
Yes, we
that's
got
not.
this.
I get that's not how life is. But I've never got past not wanting it to be like that. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of parents do that.
Mm.
I think it's fair to say it's like, and sometimes just to be honest, like I'll come back and I'll be like, she's still saying this. Like, doesn't she see we've tried it, and here we are again?
Yeah.
And you're like,
Well, it's
got
the same.
it.
How
and,
many
and
times
so
do you
let's
have to
try
say,
again. Let's try
"That's your
again.
mom. That's your mom.
Mm,
That's
that's
your
right.
mom."
And so part of
Poor
it,
mom.
that is part of what I'm personally grateful for as a mom. I am so grateful because I have a son, which you guys know, 20 years older than Seth. I've raised a son on the spectrum, is another one, without this school. And this is in the time when diagnosis would come very late. They wouldn't
Yeah.
diagnose a child because they don't diagnose until they're 18.
Right.
I don't know if you remember this time when it was like they wouldn't. It was all behavioral. It was all oppositional defiant. You were told if you could parent right, he would stop being like this.
Yeah.
And in my heart, and in my self-judgment, it would be, if I could love him enough, he would be better. I honestly thought we could not love him
Right.
enough to get him
And
out
I
of
think it's
that
important what you're
behavioral
saying
thing, but it's not just behavioral.
about the school is that for my husband and I, for our family, the school has become our family.
That's
Our
that's
savior.
exactly right.
And I think families like Eli's family and certain other people that just couldn't come today, the school has been such a foundation for us that I don't know where we would have been if we didn't find your school just by chance that somebody said you have to go look at this school.
That's how we found it.
and that's why I get
you're making me
fiercely,
cry, Karen. I'm not-
angry when people don't get the right vibe from our school because I'm so protective of it, because if they saw how much energy you and Ro put into all of the kids individually, it's so draining. It just drives me crazy.
It is sacrificial.
It's
It
so
is
sacrificial.
sacrificial from you. But I also think in a very practical way it has to be, because a lot of schools, without mentioning names as Eli has taught us, they want to put themselves out as like martyrs for certain causes, but
Right.
you can only claim to be a martyr for so long before there has to be some sacrifice.
Right.
And you do have to get up and give that. And it's okay if it makes you emotional, because it is the truth. For me, I'm alone in New York.
Right.
My husband works all the time. I would be raising a second son and alone and much older, and I could barely do it the first time. I don't know if you remember when I first came in, I was like, I did not leave anything of myself left after giving everything I could to raise that first son. When I had a second son, and I hope nobody judges me for this. If they do, that's up to them. A part of me was so like relaxed in it, because I was like, I get to see what it's like to raise a child who's just normal after everything I gave, and thank God I get to just enjoy like talking and going to the park regular now. And it wasn't that way, and I was frantic when I found out, because I was like, I didn't leave anything left.
Right.
And I was like, how am I going to do it? And I'm older, I'm tired, I've been financially with the first one. And by the way, when we talk about like tuition and stuff, one of the things I say is not even like a plug for the school, but like this school, if you can get a therapist, some kind of help in the house, anything. It's not just saying this school, but any help you can get your kids, whether you think you can afford it or not. You cannot afford not to. Because
Right.
what it cost me to raise a kid without a school like this, the comparison is beyond 100-fold.
Sherry and I were saying where
You can't afford not to.
We're looking forward to Madeline and Eli going into middle school, because they have such a strong foundation from this school, and I think it would have been a very
That's
different
important.
story if they weren't there here. With that being said, I know that somebody prepared a special video for you, Marianne. I
Really?
think I'm supposed to say Bobby hit it. I don't know if anything's
Oh, is
supposed
this?
to
I think
happen.
these are our kids. The our broadcasters last
Yes, the
week.
second grade?
Yes,
Yes.
the second grade
I want to
broadcasting.
say-
We never got to see their film, so let's end with that, right?
I just want to say one thing, even if it takes just a minute. We can never be exhaustive at the table. And I do want to add, like, anybody that watches, whether they're part of the school or not, because not everybody can make it with their hours, you can go, which we just learned this week, on Facebook and like the page, and you can read just in the
Yes,
reviews
definitely.
stories of gratitude. And for the people within the community, if you haven't got a chance, you can hit review and you can share your own testimony also. Or ask Kara, call the school, ask, how do I do it? I want them to hear my story too. What about my children? Share it, because this is how we all become closer, is by knowing each other's stories.
It's so true.
So, okay.
Thank you. This was beautiful. So
And you got a little break to
I
listen.
did.
Okay,
to listen.
that's all.
So
I just want to say, call
wherever
the
you
school and
are,
ask, how do I tell? I want to share my story. Hey, my child went there.
That's
and
beautiful.
Somebody will let you know how.
so wherever you are,
Right.
in the process of
Right.
metamorphosis,
That's right. We want to hear it. I
Caterpillar,
want to know my
cocoon,
community
butterfly.
stories too. I
Awesome.
really do. Okay.
Okay, so this is our second grade broadcasting kids who were on last week, made a little
Okay,
video. Hit it, Bobby, and we're out. Thank you.
Bye, and thank you.
Thank you. Gratitude for sure.
Welcome to Spark L News. Here are your anchors, Evan and Kobe. Ta-da!
Thanks for joining us today.
Today we're going to have a special about principals. How does a principal make you feel?
Let's find out what people have to say. Bum, bum, bum.
To make everybody safe. So let's say you have a mean principal and like they punish you in some sort of way. If you hear the word principal, then you would kind of get scared. When I hear the word principal, I feel good because Principal Marion is really nice. When I first came here, like my first day of school, when I was talking to Principal Marion when I was younger on my first day, I was like very scared and shy. You might have not known that, but after I knew how kind she was, I've been staying in the school for like a very long time because I love it, and my principal's very kind. First, it was not Principal Marion, so it was another school, and in that school I was pretty afraid of my principal because he screamed at me a lot.
Hi, my name is Evan. I'm here with Noah.
Hello.
What's a principal's job?
A principal's job is to keep the school organized. Hi, my name is Christian and I'm here with Kobe.
Hello, people that are in this world that are blowing up.
What is a principal's job?
A principal's job is to run the school, teach people, and get them in trouble when they're bad, period.
Hello, this is Parker Cohen, and I'm going to end the vlog today, Katie Cohen. Now, let's have a hug. Like that.
Although we're brothers.
What is a principal's job?
To run the school.
How do you feel when you hear the word principal?
Sport.
Hi, I'm Melanie, and I'm here with Gianna. What is a principal's job? To like keep the school running and to make sure like everybody's listening and following the rules. That is interesting, Gianna. Thank you for bringing that up. You're welcome. Hi, I'm Cleo and I'm with Tristan.
Hello.
What is a principal's job?
A principal's job is to keep the school organized and make sure everyone's doing the right thing and deal with some kids that get in trouble and find out a solution for the problem.
Whoop.
Hoi, I'm Mia and I'm here with Abigail.
What's a principal's job?
The principal's job is to make sure there's no problem and everything's going good.
How do you feel about principals?
Nice, good.
Over to our next interview.
I am Sienna, interviewing Emmy.
Hi.
What's a principal's job, Emmy? A principal's job is trying to help and teach kids how to be kind. How do you feel about principals? Well, the rest principals are not so good, but I think Principal Marion is good. Why are some principals not so great? Well, I think it's only because some principals are a little too strict, and like our principal, she's very kind and she's not strict.
Hi, I'm Benjamin. What is a principal's job? To keep things in control. Do you have a story about a principal?
Yeah, actually, I do. 3 years ago in kindergarten, and my principal was like very, very, very strict, and even in lunch we couldn't talk at all, and we got out of our chairs. Then she would put us in timeout.
Hi, I am Sabrina, and I'm with Amelia.
Hey.
How do you feel about principals? Principal Maria makes me happy because she's the sweetest.
What's the principal's job?
To support kids.
How does a principal support you?
If you're being mean, they say what's wrong.
Hello, I'm Kobe and I'm here with Parker.
Hello, and I am from this school. Stuck it on my chin. You should come to the school. It's really good. I come here now.
Parker, I forgot. What's a principal's job?
A butcher's job is to run the school and get some money and then get a lot of kids to learn math, science, and crazy stuff. And you need to read because what are you going to know? If there was school in history, what would you learn? What do you know? What they're asking you, what they know. A butcher's job is to run the school and make it a better place. Like Sparkle Elementary. Kids, you should come to the school. Go 106. I'm kidding. I don't know what the call phone number is. Bye-bye.
That was amazing. Back to the studio. Oh,
Where is he?
I gotta run all the way
there
back
he
here.
It was so cool hearing about all your thoughts about principals.
We'll see you next time.
Bye, 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 bye. Okay, bye.
I'm still all tired from all that running.